Yo! Came in too hot. What's good? Welcome to Shit IDK, where I did not know that carrying a Furby into the Pentagon was illegal. Yo!
Is it?
It is.
How'd you find that out?
Useless information.
Wow.
It's here.
That's
it's
not
here,
that
my
useless.
friend.
Did it say why?
Somebody might do.
Why? Because at one point they had the recorders in there, in the Furbies.
Wow.
Yeah. So whoever made that Furby fucked it up for everybody.
Probably the blinking of the eye.
Yo. You know hoes is hella creepy too. So
They are creepy.
Hella creepy.
They are fucking
They
creepy.
are creepy. Didn't they make a movie about them joints, right?
Uh,
You can't feed them after midnight.
It was.
Is that
That's
correct?
the Gremlins.
They made it.
Gremlins.
That was
Same
Yeah.
Same
thing.
Yeah.
Concept.
That's what I did
Same
came from.
Let's be
concept.
real. It's the
Same
same
concept.
shit.
Yeah.
What's good? You're now tuned in to Shit IDK. I am your host, Lance Moore. We got special guests in the building. We got our new host. It was just that sudden. We got a new host in the building. Ricky.
Hey, what's going on, man? You know. Good to be here, man.
Yeah, man.
Got a lot of information we're going to give to the public, to the people, you know. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, a lot of interesting. So you're gonna get a lot of useless information, but a lot of news you can use too at the same time.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of applicable information, too.
And you're going to get a lot of new
general
words.
knowledge.
Your lexicon is going to stretch because this dude here be using words I be having to Google real quick. Like,
Oh, shit.
all right. Tell the word that you said earlier.
Honorific ability titibus. And it means in honor of.
On that note,
That's offensive somehow. To my ears, like to my brain, you know? To my like intelligence level, you know? Yo, how dare you?
How dare you.
Assume that I know that word, you know?
that part. He just threw it on me.
Yes.
And with that note, I would like to introduce my guest host in the building. We really just all just hosting today, man. We all just hosting. We just kicking back, man. It's literally the first episode. Nobody's a guest because we're all kin to the room, friends to the building, man. You already know. We got Louie in the building.
Yes, sir.
The king of so what?
Oh, shit, I don't know about that.
Talk to the people, man.
Well, what's up, man? Just happy to be here, man.
Yo, man.
I'm just happy to be part of this, man.
It's a pleasure to have you here, man. It's a
Oh,
pleasure to have you here, man. We had to pull you in, man. You have vast knowledge on a bunch of different things too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just know a little bit about a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of like you. I got a lot of useless information too,
That
bro.
part,
I can
man.
just throw out there. You
It's
know?
like at literally drop of a dime, because we was literally just talking about a subject. We not even gonna say the name, but it was just like, what happened to Shmush and Shmush? And then he came in, I got the answer.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It's like, man.
And we found out what happened to such and such.
Man.
That fast.
You know.
Well, like, what are the odds, you know?
Yeah, man.
What are the
Hey,
odds?
look, we appreciate guys like that, so we can. Hey, it's no more wondering. We know, you know.
And you don't got to worry, man. All that can be. You can definitely. You can say names too. It's
Oh, okay, cool.
Ain't nobody worried about that. That's the homie. So it's no weird shit. I'll say the same shit I said to you. Period.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we found out what happened to Aaron Carter. Okay.
Dum, dum, dum. What happened to the original Biebs?
Wow. Hey, well, that would be appreciated, you know. Like,
Yeah.
that's credit where credit is due, in my
It
opinion.
is, man.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta salute the OGs when
Absolutely.
you got to.
Got to.
You got
Absolutely.
You got to. man.
Asher Roth have to, you know, he had to bow down to Eric
It's
Carter.
Facts.
Yeah, he gave it.
Facts.
He gave the format to them. He
Mhm.
came through, and Eric Carter was a shit, man. I ain't gonna lie, that man was a
Hey,
shit.
man.
He was on CW, WB,
Everything,
Disney,
right.
Nickelodeon,
Had toys, had
toys,
everything.
backpacks. Man, had every
Yeah.
goddamn thing.
Hell yeah.
The next thing you know, just
Yeah. It's a hell of a business, man.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can.
Hell of a
Okay, so
business.
this is the question. This is the question I wanted to ask before we started. I wanted to ask. Let me see if I can remember. Cause I know you got the insight to about when artists say is it plausible when you hear artists say they rather have the fortune and not the fame, or when they make comments like, I give this fame up for this and that. Like basically like Kanye mentioned when he was talking about his mental health and what he was going through with Kim and all that. He was like, fuck the fame. You know what I'm saying? I keep my fortune, but I can care less about the fame. Do you think they really authentic when they say that?
I think anybody in this business who's in this business, you know, because I like to make a clear difference between who is practicing to be in this business and who's in this business. You know what I mean? It's a really small world, man. Like entertainment is a small world, but it's really surprising how everybody seems to be within 1 to 2 degrees of separation, you know?
That's true.
Across the board. And so I think you hear a lot of people who have achieved those heights. You know, they're human, right? So it's the same way that maybe I wake up today and I feel like this is my lane, this is my purpose, and I'm crushing it. I wake up tomorrow and I might be like, man, I'm sick of this shit. You know what I mean? And I think people are genuine. You know, I think it's a real, actual. You know, fame is a drug. Yeah. It's a drug, right?
Oh yeah, we see it every day on social media.
You know, some of us use drugs sustainably. Mm-hmm. You know, I like to think I'm a sustainable weed smoker. I smoke that shit from sun up to sundown. I ain't missed a day in probably 8-9 years. Yeah. And I feel all right. I feel all right. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, some people that's not sustainable, right? And the same thing with fame. So I think, you know, and I think a lot of people kind of pimp that though, right? Yeah. You know, like people say, I'm dope. I mean, how many? You know what's so weird to me is like, y'all think about how it's become a new marketing strategy for artists to fake retire.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, we saw it with Jay-Z.
We saw Hov retire.
We don't care. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
What are you retiring for?
We don't care. Like nobody who's like that crazy, like with that following you were taling about earlier, that cult following has to play those games, right? And so I think there is a fake aspect of it too, but I think it's a valid. It's something to watch out for in this business for sure.
I personally think they do that when they run out of like content in that moment.
Yeah, because Doja Cat is talking about retiring right now.
Nobody gives a fuck.
She ain't even been out that long.
I'm sorry, man. She played the fuck out of us, man.
Hey, it's weird though because she also has this cult following thing.
She has a big ass following.
It's crazy. Like festival type of thing where people dress up as cows.
Right. Like, so it's like at the end of the day, she can kind of do that now. It's kind of mind blowing, but
just she played the fuck out of us, man.
So it got to the point to where like her following is becoming so big and tantamount to the point where I had to like, hold on, man, let me go listen to her music.
Let me actually go through this and see what it is. Yeah, which I did the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. So I saw it. I went through it. Hey, I'm not. If that's what people are rocking with, they're rocking with it, and I'm not going to take away from that. Music is a lot of different tastes and opinions, you know. Right. So I see that she has a deeper thing going on than maybe just what you think on the surface. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's hard to find unique hip hop these days.
It is.
Whether it's a female, male, or trap or not, it's just hard. to find authentic new music that you haven't heard before. You know, that's how I feel. Like,
because how Wayne said it. They asked him years ago. They asked him, who do you listen to? He said he listens to nobody. He only listens to himself, and that keep the authenticity of his sound, and he don't have to grab nobody else's sound by listening to other artists. Nowadays, it's not that because you got social media, so you always gonna be tapped into somebody else's sound. That's why we always hearing, hey, he sound like such and such. Hey, he kind of such and such, and everybody just sounds so fused. You know what I'm saying? So the originality is kind of like fading away. Really,
that's 100%. I think that happens every time that you hit a renaissance in music, right? When it's about to make a shift, and you see a lot of stuff. Like, remember before there was this period in hip hop I always talk about. And I wonder if people remember it the same way, but the way I look at it was like this. So up until the early 2000s, hip hop hit kind of a point where everybody was saying hip hop's going to die. Right? That stuff. And so what you had these what a lot of people consider filler artists, right? And you had these you had the snap music, right? You had the jerk stuff, and this was even pre that actually, with the snap, you know, and all that kind of stuff going on.
It was you were hearing more 808s coming into the
chorus, right? And you kind of felt like, I don't know where this is going from here. But then Lil Wayne dropped "Got Money," and he brought hip hop back with one record. It wasn't a milli. That did massive influence, but "Got Money" was the record that got money. And you know it.
With that, you know what I'm saying, it kind of helped birth the style, because T-Pain came in at that moment too. You know what I'm saying? That was a moment in time where we was getting something different. We was getting an auto-tune. And we was getting more catchier hooks. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the spitters had to sit down at that point.
Yeah,
you know what
pretty
I'm saying?
much. Pretty
it was
much,
like if you can spit all day, you know what I'm saying? Because that was
the standard before.
Yeah, it was either you had to be enough to be a battle rapper, you know what I'm saying, or you was just making just bubblegum drop music. But what they did was they we knew T-Pain could spit.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? We knew T-Pain was a rapper, you know what I'm saying, turned singer. Of course. You know what I'm saying? And we knew that it came with that. You know what I'm saying? He carried the smoke.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, too.
Yeah. And he was with Wayne. So Wayne had already kind of paved the way, but that birthed that auto-tune kind of. He already had it, but it kind of put him on another level.
On a pedestal, essentially, as a trailblazer, you know, which...
He definitely is a trailblazer.
Oh, definitely, man. Shout out to T-Pain, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to T-Pain. He doing some amazing stuff.
Shout out to T-Pain.
Yeah. But definitely, you know what I'm saying, he helped mold the generation that it is today 100%. Because now everybody's auto-tuning. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's fucking
It's a standard. It's industry standard.
It is.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, to say anything less is just simply not true. And if you're melodyning, it's just a much more... in-depth auto-tune, man. You know, nowadays you gotta auto-tune, man. It's just part of the sound. It's not even about can you sing it on pitch. It's about we want to hear the sound with auto-tune. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Shit, even I was trying to see what my voice sounded like on auto-tune at one point.
Hey, I was watching Lil Dicky show Dave. And on one of the episodes, he was in the studio with I think she was like a random chick, and he had the studio on with the vocalizer on, and he was just talking. They were just regularly talking, and the shit sounded like a hit. Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy.
It was crazy. So, Louie, tell me something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been in the industry for a while. You know, and I said this too because when we started this show, I didn't want to make it like where artists can come and just talk about themselves. I did not want to make that show. Yeah. But you've been in the industry of music so long that you know the ins and outs, you know what I'm saying, at this point. Like, tell me something that's not really just spoken on in the industry, you know what I'm saying, that you know, that can, you know, probably help benefit somebody coming into the industry.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with the industry is it's kind of mysterious, right? Like, it's this kind of big entity, right, that exists among us and affects our everyday lives and all sorts of things is what we watch and what we listen to when we're driving and going to sleep. But nobody really could tell you, like, this is how it works. And a lot in part because most people, including myself, don't know exactly how it works. We know how to work in it, you know? And so it's like taking that chaos and making that chaos workable for you, but still having kind of a confusion when it comes to how, what is, because every time you see something in this business new, it's like, what? You know? So for me, I think a big thing, and I think an important thing, is the more people that you do get on any platform, which is why I like the, you know, shit IDK, you know, because most people don't know anything about the actual functionality of music business.
At all, period.
At all. You know, they you know, and I got in the business, you know, I did music for a long time before I would say I got in the business, you know, and in the business I got in as a songwriter. So that's something I would say that I think is important, is that, you know, having an artist background, finding commercial success as a songwriter, and then leveraging that to come up for the things I want to do as an artist, or, you know, my management stuff or whatever I'm doing was a big play for me, because a lot of times as an artist, you know, when I was first an artist, it kind of goes back to what you were saying about bars and you got to be a spitter. You want to rap.
Yeah.
Well, when I got to Hollywood, and people were starting to say, like, okay, so, you know, at the time I'd released a record. It's been like 2012 with like Problem. And it was right after like Why came out, and it was just the record of the East Coast, you know, or the West Coast, sorry. But it was the one, you know. And so we dropped the record, and, you know, I'm getting all these people coming up to me like, who are we having write your next single? And I'm like, the fuck? Nobody. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, disrespectful, you know?
Right.
How dare you? Now I was probably 21, something like that, 22, and fast forward 5 years, I came to learn there's a reason for that. Like, if you want to make music that a lot of people are going to like, you should probably put more than one person's influence on it. songwriting is a constructive form of helping make commercially successful songs. I had an ego. I didn't see it that way. Luckily, I got the chance to relearn that. But the best thing that ever happened to me was saying, I want to be successful in this business, and then acknowledging what was going to let me in there, even if it wasn't the way that I thought it should go, A, B, C, D. Mm-hmm. Like, you find what's working for you, and you do that, and that is going to put you where you want to be, you know? And so for me, that's the thing, is being flexible with something, because with artists and music, it's a lifelong dream most of the time, and it's so serious to them, and it's their whole life. So to get them to even deviate from their plan is crazy, right? But this is the Wild West. Like, ain't no plan for this, you know? Like,
ain't no algorithms.
Yeah.
But that's true in fact right there, man. Sure.
It's being flexible, man.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Sure.
And what you to piggyback on what you're saying, that was kind of a bit of a paradox when you said not knowing how the music industry works and going into it, the confusion. It's crazy because that also makes a great artist.
Yeah.
Cause they can take that into like they can get stressed out. Boom, you gotta hit some. Take it with anger. Boom, hit some depression. Boom, hit some. So
that's real. You know, it's like people. It's those cliches that you hear so many times. You forget they're special for a reason. Like it's the journey that counts, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the most tragic part I think about music when I look at artists from the outside, or if I'm, you know, managing somebody and I'm noticing that there's a disconnect with, you know, them getting traction, but they don't seem so motivated. And I'm like, bro, like, you only get to not be famous once. You realize that, right? So this is a special time, you know? Like, because the second you cross that threshold, I don't care where you're from, who you with, what you did, you are no longer that anymore. A lot of rappers have a hard time stomaching that pill, but I'm sorry, that's not you no more. You are this now, you know, and that journey is the coolest part of music, man. Is when you even are getting a little traction and you get your first show that you didn't pay to be on. You should never pay to be on a show. That's more music game. Don't pay to be on a show, man. What? Like, what? Like, don't pay for features, bro.
That part.
What? Like,
they want your talent.
That's another thing. But, you know, journey is the incredible part, man. That's where you are really, you know, typically you're doing music. You're around a team, right, of people that you probably trust, hopefully, and got your back, hopefully. Yeah. And in a perfect world, I mean, that was everything, right? I want to do what I love with the people I love, and that's it. And you lose that along the way as it turns into a job. You start to lose that feeling. It's
that's what Jay-Z said.
Results, and it's not so much about the music. You know, that's something you're gonna have to find your own way back to when that happens. I know I can relate to that. It's trying to get back to music and appreciate it for what that is instead of just a number. You know,
No, dope. Man, what is some good information that you learned this week, man?
Oh man, I got so much, man. Because I read a lot, man. Like, really, I read a lot. But I read this one thing the other night. Shout out to B.F. Skinner. You know, if y'all are unaware of who that is, that's the father of psychotherapy. You know, behavioral therapy. Okay. So, you know, putting two and two together. This is based on mental health. So he put in one of the segments of his book, and this might sound crazy, you know what I'm saying? This is quite of a paradox. He was talking about, you know, since today, he wrote this maybe 30, 40 years ago, but, you know, today, right now, we always talking about mental health because it's serious, you know. Most people don't understand what's going on in their mind, you know. You can't fathom what some people are going through mentally, you know what I'm saying? Even they can't even understand why they're going through stuff mentally, you know what I'm saying? That's why mental health is so important. And but he put in his book that grief and tragedy is therapeutic for the human. Does it sound crazy?
Grief and tragedy is therapeutic for the human?
Therapeutic for the human. Sound crazy, right?
It do, but it don't. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, like, it's kind of like you you wouldn't know to appreciate the sunshine if you didn't have to go through the rain.
Right.
You know? So it's kind of like that. Like I would just put it in that vein, because like you gotta, if you didn't go through it sometimes, like you wouldn't know how to kind of pull somebody else through. Sometimes you gotta.
That's true.
Sometimes you gotta. So picture like a forest in front of you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not like, sometimes you're put in a position where you gotta go through and, you know what I'm saying, trailblaze and knock the weeds out. You know what I'm saying? Go through your struggle so it'll clear the path for the next person. So you'll be able to tell them, hey, it's a snake up there, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's shit.
Go left, don't go right.
Don't go that way, bro.
Yeah.
It's a fucking pit right there with sharp stakes in the bottom of it. Right there. I even left a sign for you, bro. Like, you know, to pull that person behind you. Yeah. So I do believe that, you know, it is some things you have to go through.
Yeah. Most definitely. He spoke about the reason being they came up with this this idea in psychotherapy is for the fact that a lot of humans, majority of us, we are passive aggressive, and we'll just build shit, let it build up, and we have no avenue for release, and that right there causes a lot of depression. It causes mental breakdowns, you know what I'm saying? And he says that with grief and tragedy, that gives that conduit for you to release it, to get it off your chest. Like, it don't even have to be nothing like a severe tragedy. It can be like you just wrecked your car. Oh my fucking God, damn, and blah, blah, blah. So now all that pent up anger and all that stuff you've been feeling for the past week, you're releasing that. So by the end of the day, you settled everything. All that pent up anger is gone and it's been released. And now you can reset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until the next time. And then you just keep building. You'll, keep releasing once you get to building up. And that's why he said grief and tragedy is good therapy for the human. You know, so that's what I learned. It was crazy to me because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? When you think of grief and tragedy, you think of like, I'm sad, sorrow, oh my God, life is over. Yeah. But if you don't have no way to release those feelings, you can't be able to function mentally correctly as a human. So, understood.
Well, it's psychotherapy, right? So, you know, because I was going to wait until you said, you know, what was his reason? Like, in what way is it therapeutic? And so you can't, it's hard to talk about psychotherapy without ending in a question mark. It's very hard to end in a period because people are not that simple. We're complex. And so it's
You read the book? No. Because a few paragraphs before that, he literally put, you cannot put the human psyche in a box.
Right.
You can't predict
so, it. You know, I like to learn. I assume that I'm dumb, and I like to learn as much as I can. I forget, and then I got to learn other shit. But I must have watched something in the last couple of weeks because I'm thinking, you know. Yeah. But, you know, it's like I hear that, and I'm thinking, okay.
Come a little closer.
Okay. I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking that could make sense. I'm thinking more resilience is therapeutic. Like when you get through grief or tragedy, it doesn't mean it just goes away. But when you walk through it, the resilience, that the feeling you get of accomplishing that is extremely therapeutic, right? Like knowing that and it kind of goes back to what Lance's saying. If you don't go through it, how can you do it? You know what I mean? And how can you show somebody else how to do it? So because grief can kill you too.
It definitely can kill you.
Grief can be extremely untherapeutic. You know what I'm saying?
And it triggers. You know what I'm saying? Because some people hold their stress in different places. True. You know, like you hold your stress in your stomach. You know, and it can cause ulcers. It can cause bleeding from the it causes all kind of stress on your body. Right. So you have people that carry it just everywhere, like 100%. In your head, migraines, like 100%. All of that shit triggers in the body.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff, even though they say in neuropsychology, your brain and your mind is two different things. Yeah. They're separated, but at the same time, like they also say, is mind over matter. Where the mind go, the body follows. Right. So your mind is closely connected to your nervous system. So if something is bothering you, your body gonna start malfunctioning. And like Lance said, if it's steady weighing in on your brain, yeah, you can cause a paralysis, man. That might sound extreme, but you can stroke, for example.
Well, that's real.
Aneurysms, all kind of shit. All of that can happen, man.
So you always should have some type of avenue to release or conduit to release something that's pent up, because it can really affect you.
Yeah, that's true. I think us as men, we hold our shit in anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think socially right is the thing, but I think we're hitting a renaissance with that too, man. You know, because
it is changing.
Some cats out there is like tired of, we're all kind of around the same age, more or less, right? You know, 31, 31, 32, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. So, you get to a certain point, and I think you get to a place where you're kind of like, I know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What doesn't work is like what you're saying, like holding shit in and just letting it kind of rot in your brain. What does work is expressing that shit, So I think it's like learning from that too, as you kind of grow and you realize that those things, like you said, really do affect your body, man.
Oh,
like in a crazy way. Like you'll be sick, you'll be, like he said, having ulcers and all types of stuff, bro. It's real, and I've seen guys where they're telling me these symptoms, and I'm no doctor at all, man. So I definitely would preface anything I say with, but maybe go ask a doctor if it's that crazy. You know what I mean? Right. I'd be like, bro, that sounds like stress to me. And no, I couldn't be stressed. Go to the doctor. What's wrong with me? Stress. Stress. And I'm like, shit. It's real. It's real. Yeah.
Nah, it's definitely a real thing, man. We just gotta. It's kind of like how they tell it, like how you tell a kid, like growing up, like a baby, you know what I'm saying? You start to like point out, hey, where's your nose? You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? We just have to learn how to kind of address where the pain is coming from. You know, we just gotta. It's kind of like, absolutely.
And it's more. I mean, I don't want to sound, cliche male, but you know what I'm saying. But it's kind of harder for us men. Not because, basically because of, it's a cultural thing, and it's kind of ubiquitous because every male across the world is taught the same thing. Like, you a man, you are destined to protect, provide. You know what I'm saying? So all that emoting every day, all day, you're showing a sign of weakness, and it's always the opposition out there, and they will use that to their advantage. So you can't do that, because in war, if your opposer can see your weakness, they will strike, and there go your nation. So we are always taught to hold in your feelings, hold in your emotions, stay hard body, and blase, and try to find a way, a channel to, trying to find a way to channel your stress, anger. So we go play basketball, we fish, you know what I'm saying, smoke weed. Yeah, so instead of just going to another human and dumping our emotional woes on them.
So what do y'all think about hater syndrome?
Hater syndrome?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Elaborate. That's a new term to me.
When you say that, I think